Hi, I'm Zach Reininger with Forest River Flagstaff. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit more in depth about our super light fifth wheels. Let's go around the front. We'll start in the front and I'll show you our molded front cap. The molded front cap up here, as you see, nice solid front cap. You do have your docking lights, so that will help you when you're backing up to hook up to your fifth wheel. You also have your turning point hitch, and what the benefit of this is going to be is the majority of the trucks in the industry out there are going to be a short bed truck. So this allows you to actually hook on and still get those 90-degree turns in a short bed truck without having to worry about blowing out a rear window like you will with some of these other pin boxes from other manufacturers. While we're up here, we'll mention too, you still have slam bag doors up here. You have dual battery tray in there. And this is also where you're going to find your plug-in for the solar on the side. So this allows you to have an actual briefcase solar panel that you can plug in, chase the sun anywhere it goes around here. We do also offer roof mount solar prep as well as roof mount solar package. So you can actually get solar panels already built into the roof from us. It is an option, just depends on the model. Let's go around the side. I'll show you a few more things on this side as we make our way around. Coming over onto the side of our super light fifth wheel, you're going to notice that you have dual 30-pound LP tanks, one on each side for weight distribution. Large pass-through storage here, and all of these are going to be slam bag doors. What that means for you is slams shut. Nice heavy doors, you can feel how solid they are, you can see how thick they are, but for a customer, when you're using it, what's nice about this is magnetic strips right here. So when you put it up, it secures to the wall, you're not messing with clips, it doesn't hang straight out here where you're ducking underneath it, you're not having to worry about it hitting you in the head when you're loading or unloading items in and out of your pass-through storage. So this is really nice to have, and these slam bag doors are a really high-end feature. Another thing to point out is you do have the option for a couple different types of jacks here. So you have electric jacks in the front always, but you can also get electric jacks in the rear, or you can get auto leveling, where you just push the button and it figures itself out. So either one of those is a possibility for you. This particular model we have optioned out with the auto leveling system. Coming over to our door, a couple things that I like about this is we use the screenshot door. So what this is, it's like the screen door at your house. It automatically closes for you. Kids are going in and out, you're not yelling at them all the time to close the door behind them. It's going to go ahead and do that for you. It's just a convenience feature, keeps the bugs out for you. Another thing I point out is the window inside of our door. That is actually a shade right there that pulls down and closes. So that allows you to block off a little bit more light in here, a little bit more privacy. This friction hinge, what it means for you is it's not going to blow away in the wind. So it just kind of goes wherever you want it. There still is a safety clip right here so you can lock it back if it is really windy and you want to leave it open. We also use the MORryde strut assist steps. So the MORryde steps, the benefit of these steps are going to be, first of all, they're very, very easy to use. You can use one finger, lift these up and down. They're on a strut assist, so they're easy for our customer to use. They go right up, they stay inside the unit. So first of all, they're not getting extremely dirty when you're towing down the road, so when you get there, they're not 130 degrees covered in oil and rubber from the road, but also they're much easier. You just pull them down. They have adjustable legs on both sides, so if you are in an uneven campsite, you can pull this leg down. And they're also just much more solid than the old three-step that you still find on a lot of other brands out there. The other benefit of the MORryde system is you can actually add a handrail to this. So if you're someone that maybe has bad knees or a bad back and you want some additional help beyond the large grab handle that we have here, you can add a handrail there that'll help you get in and out. Another thing that this allows us to do is be a little bit more flexible in our floor plans, because now the steps actually go inside the door rather than having to find a place around the axles to build that underneath. So it allows us to be a little bit more creative in our floor plans and open that space up for you as a customer. I have these on my particular smaller travel trailer and we love them. They're great, they're so much more solid, they stay clean. Just a big fan of having those steps. Another thing to point out when we're on the side here is going to be our frameless windows. So you can see them here on the side. The benefit is, first of all, they look a lot better than your traditional window, which we can show you one at the end of our slide room, and I'll explain why we need to use those there. The other benefit is you can open them when it's raining because they open out rather than slide up and down. And then on top of that, you don't have to worry about maintaining the seals around the outside of them like a traditional window. So all these other brands out there where you see a traditional window, and again, we'll show you a picture of what that looks like. The downside of those is you do have to maintain the seals to prevent water intrusion on that. You get a lot more of the black streaks and everything. It's just more maintenance for you, and it doesn't look as good, frankly. Another thing on the underbelly, while we're here, I do like to talk a lot about heated and enclosed underbellies. We get questions all the time. Is it a four-season? Is it heated and enclosed? And first of all, yes, it is heated and enclosed underbelly. And one thing that we do that is different than anybody else out there is we actually use 12-volt tank pads. And what those mean for a customer is basically, rather than the industry standard where they will take and cut a 2x4-inch heat duct into a perhaps 37-foot underbelly and duct heat into those tanks and tell you that they're heated and enclosed, what we do is put the 12-volt tank pads on. It runs off your battery. You flip a switch inside. When it hits 45 degrees outside, they turn on automatically. They'll run down to -10. So that's something you can leave, honestly, on all year long because they're thermostatically controlled. The benefit of that versus a ducted air system is going to be, it's a simple question. When you're at home and it's 25 degrees outside and you turn your furnace on to say 70 degrees, and your furnace warms the house up to 71, what does your furnace do? Probably shuts off if it's operating correctly, right? Well, same concept here. If your furnace shuts off because it's warm enough inside your trailer, what's heating your tanks? Nothing. Another thing to think about too is that furnace works off the thermostat that's inside the actual fifth wheel. If you're like me or the majority of our other customers, first of all, you have a fireplace in this unit that's electric, but we also like to use space heaters so that we can conserve as much of our propane as possible. So when we're running all this electric heat inside and it's nice and toasty in there, that thermostat thinks, well, hey, it's 72 degrees in here, it's wonderful. Why am I supposed to run? So it doesn't run. So the whole time that you're camping and it's cold, there's no heat that's actually getting ducted down to your tanks. So that's the downside of what most brands out there are doing when they actually say that, yes, we have heated and enclosed tanks, is it's very limited on what it'll actually do. Our system is far superior. The tank pads are right on the tanks itself, and we actually go a step further and we wrap all of your elbows that go to your termination. So when all these tanks, all the plumbing that comes down inside that underbelly, when it comes to where you actually have your gate valves, we wrap that in the same material. So it's getting that same heat at 45 degrees down to -10. And the reason we do that is because water will pool right there. When water pools, it expands and contracts, and there's a lot of joints. So it helps prevent cracking in those elbows. So it is such a superior way to do this construction-wise, and it's something that doesn't get talked about enough, where most people feel they just need to check the box that they asked. Is it heated and enclosed underbelly because their cousin told them to, or whatever it might be. Ask some more specific questions when you're out there and when you're trying to learn about this stuff, because this system and the way that we do this is so far superior than anything else out there. So make sure you're asking those questions. Another thing that, while we're kind of in this underbelly area, that I like to talk about is construction and some of the things that we do differently and better. There's been a lot of, I wouldn't call it issues, but a rampant case of decontenting quality construction in this industry. And what's happening is a lot of our competitors are thinking, let's pull money out of the construction and give more lights and buttons and things to distract the customer rather than building a quality trailer. So it's almost like a magician trick, right? They're distracting you with this hand while they're taking the money out of your wallet with this one. Meanwhile, they're also lining up those service departments for lots of future work. So there's some things that we do differently, and I'll hit on these as we go. One of them is those heated tanks and why we do that differently, but construction-wise, we're one of the last brands out there. They're all sides aluminum. Roof, floor, sidewalls, front wall, rear wall. Almost every other brand, even if you're talking into your high-profile $120,000 fifth wheels, some of them, if not most of them, are using wood somewhere, whether that's the floor, or the roof, the front wall, or the rear wall. They'll put a nice little sticker on the outside that says aluminum cage, and that just means sidewalls. So ask some questions. Make sure you're diving into this, because we're doing aluminum on every single wall that we have. We have aluminum in the front that we now use block foam in there as well for the insulation rather than a fiberglass batt insulation like you'd find in most other products. We then wrap that with a radiant barrier, so that's going to have an R38 value that's going to double insulate that front wall. every other wall in here is going to be laminated. So we also take that radiant barrier insulation and we line your underbelly with it. So you've got that line in your underbelly, then you have your 12-volt tank pads. We use aluminum framing in the floor, and then we also use plywood decking. So it's 4x8 foot sheets of plywood decking. It's all tongue and groove, but we go a step further. And one thing that we do is we actually take the time to run a bead of adhesive along every beam that we have in this floor before we put that floor down. So we glue it and then screw it, and it's all tongue and groove. The reason we do this is it's a preventative measure. Our whole goal is to make your life easier as a customer, because the happier you are with it, the more you're going to tell your friends, and the better time you're going to have, and the more you're going to trade in and buy another Flagstaff. So what that does is, by gluing and screwing that floor, it actually helps prevent squeaks. And it might seem like a small thing, but if you've ever had a squeaky floor in an RV and went and got a quote to see what that takes, it's a lot of money to fix a squeaky floor. So why wouldn't we go a step further in the beginning to make your experience that much better? So we actually glue, then screw this floor, and it seems like a small deal, but I'm pointing it out because it's a lot of little details that we do that creates a cumulative, better built product than anything else in the industry. So there's all this aluminum going on, and you can actually, I'll show it to you when we get over here. You can see it underneath your pass-throughs here. You can see the aluminum in there. But then I'll talk a little bit about our roof. And our roof is actually 4 inches thick of block foam laminated. So it is a 4-inch thick of a piece of block foam lamination. What that means for you as a customer is you basically have 4 inches of solid foam between you and the elements. So the benefit of that is going to be, it's going to be cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. And that's a big, big deal to have that versus an old style, hollow stick-built roof with an attic vent. If you get into any kind of modern construction, you'll find that a sealed attic is actually the much more efficient way to build an attic. You don't need attic vents if you have a sealed system. So very far superior way to build it, much better for climate control, sound control. You're not going to get the heat and the cold like you will with other products out there. Let's go ahead and take a step over here, and I'll show you a few features on this side. A couple other things to talk about while we're on this side is, first of all, you are going to get a standard griddle on everything that we build. This is a great little feature here. It's a cast iron griddle. Super flexible for you when you're out camping. We love ours. You're really going to enjoy that, but that is standard. You will have a standard built TV mount on the outside. So this is already placed into a backer right where the TV is meant to go. You don't have to ever worry about tapping into your sidewall there. This is a great place where I can show you some more of that aluminum construction that I talked about a little bit earlier here. And then again, we're going to have our tire pressure monitoring system. So Flagstaff here, we were the first brand in the industry to partner with TST, Truck Systems Technology, who does all of the systems for the semis. I mean, they're one of the largest in the country. What this does for you is a couple different things. First of all, it's safety. You're going to have steel banded around the wheel inside there. So inside that tire, it's steel banded around there. It's going to measure everything from tire pressure to rapid tire pressure loss. So if you picked up a nail, all the way to temperature. You get a monitor that goes into your truck, and it's monitoring that, and it's communicating back and forth the entire time you're towing. So with temperature, that's a big deal, because if you get spikes in temperature from whether a tire might be underinflated for the temperature and load that you have, they could get too hot. A lot of things can happen with tires where people will blame the tire when in reality there's more things going on. So this is something that I can't emphasize enough from a safety standpoint. Is really incredible to have for you as a customer. And again, we were the first ones in the industry to offer this. It's a big deal, so make sure you're asking more questions about this. We'll have another video specifically about this for you to watch. And then really one of the biggest things that we do that's different, that I talk about all the time, that makes such a significant difference for you as an owner, is the axles that we use. We use Dexter Torque Flex axles, and what that means for you are you get independent suspension on each of these wheels. So it is rubberized automotive grade bushings inside there that give independent suspension. So just like your tow vehicle, you're going to have, if one wheel's hitting a bump, all the wheels are feeling like they're going to jump up off the ground like a traditional suspension system in a trailer. 10-year warranty on these axles. You also have a 5-year warranty on the brakes, and the brakes are never adjust. This is something that most people never realize, but never adjust brakes are a very big deal. Most other brakes that are offered out there, you're actually technically supposed to adjust them First of all, the first 250 miles, but then every 6 months, which includes lifting it off the ground, getting an Allen wrench behind there, spinning the wheels and adjusting them accordingly, which no one is actually going to do out there, which is a problem. It's preventative maintenance. This, you don't have to worry about it. Your brakes are never adjust, 5-year warranty. Again, it's safer for you and your family. The other thing about the independent suspension that most people don't think about is the ancillary benefits of that. What I mean by that is, first of all, everything from here up is going to take less abuse because it has suspension. Your sidewalls, your refrigerator, your air conditioner, your truck while you're towing it, you're not going to be as tired when you get there from that awful jarring feeling that you'll have because you have independent suspension. So this is a great investment from the standpoint of longevity for your trailer, more enjoyment, your ability to get more places without having to worry about damaging things. So I can't say enough good things about these axles and the difference they make for towing. Big deal for you for towing there. Another thing to talk about is this sticker you'll see right here, which is our Wi-Fi Ranger. Wi-Fi Ranger, what this means for you is you pull into a campground, you fire up your computer because you want to do some work on a Friday afternoon before you're going to spend the weekend with the kids, and you realize, man, I've got 1 bar of Wi-Fi from the main clubhouse. This is not good. I can't get any service. Well, what you can do with this system is turn it on. It's going to go out, grab that signal from the main clubhouse up there, bring it back, and boost it to your own private Wi-Fi network. What's cool about that is it's just like home. So your kids can log in there. You have control and access over what they can get into, the data they use, and guess what? There's a switch. You're camping. Kids are in there on their iPads too long. Flip the switch, get outside and go play. We're camping. So you have control and you have the ability to do different things there. And honestly, it just makes you more effective on the road if you are working from the trip. You can add LTE service to this. You just plug a modem into it and you can use any service that you want. So it's a really nice feature to have. I've used it before where I've stopped at a Target while on the road and there was a Starbucks inside there, and I sat in my trailer, went out, grabbed the Starbucks Wi-Fi from the parking lot and actually worked while inside our trailer. So you can use it in a lot of different ways and it's a really nice system to have. Those are kind of the main things that are happening on this side over here. If you want, we can walk around to the back here and I'll show you a few others. And as we're making our way, I talked earlier about those frameless windows. Here's a traditional RV window so you can see the difference. There's a reason we have to use that in the ends of our slide room, and that is because frameless windows open out. We can't have windows that open out here because what happens if Timmy forgets to close all the windows when you ask him to, and you bring the slide room in with the window out? Gonna be a problem. So we use the windows that actually open up and down in the ends of the slide room, and that's why we put them here. But you can see that for a demonstration of why that's different and how it's different than the frameless right here. Let's make our way around the back and I'll show you a few more things before we pop inside. Okay, here on the back side of the Flagstaff Superlite fifth wheel, we're going to talk about a couple things. So first of all, up top, you'll see that we have backup camera prep for the Furrion backup camera. You're also going to have a hitch on the back here. This is rated for 300 pounds, and what that means for you is cargo, bike racks, things of that sort. You're not going to hook up to your ski boat and go skiing for the weekend, double towing or anything like that, but it's a 300-pound capacity just for a little bit more flexibility for you and the family. A couple things I do like to talk about in the back that we do differently than most. You heard me talking about all of our aluminum construction that we do, and we actually laminate all of our back walls. I mean, you can hear how solid that wall is. So the benefit of this is going to be, again, it's built just like your side walls. It's all block foam insulation in there. We're not hanging this wall and screwing it on and putting fiberglass insulation in like a lot of our competitors will that'll then fall down over time. This is a block foam laminated wall, so you'll have consistent lamination or block foam insulation all the way through top to bottom. Makes a big deal for just longevity and climate control. But one other place that we also do this, you heard me that all of our walls are laminated when I said that. That includes our sidewall walls. That's a laminated wall. We do not hang those walls, where you'll see if you look at other products out there, you go down and look at the lot and they'll be wavy on the sides or soft and you can push them in. It's because that's a cheaper way to build. So make sure you're looking at some of these things. Ladder is going to be standard here for you to get up on the roof and check everything out. We do recommend that you do that at least once a quarter and just check your seals, preventative maintenance there. And those are the main features on the outside. As far as the back, We're going to make our way around to the front, show you the pass-through, and I'm going to show you our water convenience center and all your hookups for the pass-through. Follow me over here. One last thing I want to talk about on the outside before we go in is this side of our pass-through storage and your convenience center and what's going on in this area. So first of all of our pass-through storages are going to be heated, so you will have heat in here. And then all of your water connections here are also heated again behind there to prevent any freezing issues that you might have. But what you're going to have here is you do have a little outside hose right here that you can use, hot and cold. You got your city water connections, your black tank flush, your cable connections. You're going to have all that right here, as well as your easy winterize setup, and all those hoses come through the bottom there. You have an outlet here for you as well for anything you might want to run on this side of the camper. And then over here, you'll have your auto leveling. If you do option that, will always be in your pass-through right up in this area. In this particular model, there is a residential refrigerator inside, so this has a 1,000-watt inverter already built into it. And then also on this one, your water filter's right here. One thing you'll note with the water filter is there's a little bit of antifreeze in there, and that's something that I want you guys to know is that every unit we build year-round comes offline winterized. So you don't ever have to worry if it's winter in Indiana, but it's 85 degrees in McAllen, Texas, you know, like what's what, does my unit have winter? They're all coming in winterized, so I just want you to be aware of that. So that's what's happening on this side. We've talked about a lot of things on the outside, a lot of construction, a lot to digest out here. Let's go inside and show you some of the main features that's going to make your life much more comfortable and easy when you are out camping. Follow me. Coming inside the Super Lite fifth wheel, a lot to talk about in here as well. A few things that I like to point out are going to be solid wood cabinet doors that we use. So these obviously have glass in them, but you can see any of our doors here. They're all solid wood. The benefit of that is going to be it's going to last longer. A lot of other brands out there, like we talked about, try to decontent stuff to distract you over here while taking money out of your pocket over there. They do paper wrap. So it's just a paper wrap on there. If you're in a high humidity area, really dry, you're gonna have problems with those doors over time. They're not built for longevity. So real solid wood doors and everything we build is a big deal for you. That's just a sign of quality. So make sure you're looking at that when you're out there at other brands. Something else that I really like in here is gonna be, this is an option, but the roller shades. So we have roller shades for our windows. The standard shades are the pleated day-nights with a standard, but you can get the roller shade option in here. This particular floor plan has the optional 20 cubic foot residential refrigerator, which is why we talked about how it has the inverter already built in. You can also get the traditional 9 cubic foot RV refrigerator right here as well. 22-inch ovens. You do have a glass top here for more countertop space. Microwave, it's a full-size microwave in here. This is a great floor plan because it has this awesome little breakfast nook, high top type eating area. One thing I do like to point out, and it's a little more challenging in this floor plan, and we can show you from the outside because there's actually storage built into this, but it's how we frame all of our dinettes and all of our bed bases out in aluminum. And this is another thing that I talk about a lot because it's something where we don't cut corners where people don't look. You might not ever really notice or look underneath the dinette and realize that we frame it out in aluminum, whereas everybody else does it out of 2x2 pieces of pine with a 2-inch staple. So it's just a stapled together dinette is what most brands are doing because it's cheap. And they think you won't notice, and they think that it won't be a big deal even though you're going to have problems with it after 18 months. We build our product where you're not going to have problems and it's going to last a long time. You can save a lot of money by cutting these corners out, but it's not who we are. We value you having a good experience. So notice those things. Look at these other brands if you're ever looking at anything else, and notice how we do things a little bit differently to make your life easier when you're going down the road. Big undermount sink here, double bowl, so you have clean water, dirty water. It makes it easier to clean. Your faucet pulls out here. Nice high arch faucet, so you can actually get pots and pans underneath that as well. We're going to head back in here to the living room and show you a few features in here and talk a little bit more. We're in the back of the Flagstaff Super Lite fifth wheel, and one thing I do talk about a lot is that we use all name brand TVs, so you're not getting some off-brand, just fell off the boat type product here. You're getting a true name brand TV that's going to hold up better for you over time, and frankly just be easier to use, easier to navigate, which is always a hurdle for people. We do use multi-zone speakers here. This is actually an upgrade from a soundbar that we've used before. It sounds really good in here. You have a fireplace, and that's per floor plan. We pretty much get them in almost every floor plan. And the benefit of the fireplace is it doesn't just look good, but it's actually an electric space heater. So it's kind of like I was talking about outside with the heated and enclosed underbelly. And the nice thing about having this is this will knock the chill off. It'll keep you warm in here on those chilly nights or chilly mornings without actually having to run your furnace and run your propane if you're trying to preserve that when you're out camping. So these are great to have. Plus they just look good. It kind of feels nice to have it in here. There is an optional ceiling fan in here, so you can get that. You don't have to. You can also option in an extra max air fan, which we'll talk about a little bit further when we get up into the bathroom here. But I just wanted to come back here and show you a few of these things in the back here. We're kind of close to, or I might as well talk about our air conditioning system. So it's all Coleman Mach ACs. The benefit of the Coleman Mach AC is they have lower power draw, they run a little bit cooler, they're made in the US, and they're the largest manufacturer of RV air conditioners. So what that means for a customer is going to be distribution network, support, warranty, anything you might have. They can have an air conditioner anywhere in the country within 24 hours if you ever have a problem. So that's why we partner with them. They build a great product for air conditioners. Again, a little bit lower power draw, run a little bit colder, and you can just get great service. So that's why we use it. They're just known for being a great product. Let's go ahead and make our way up to the bedroom together. We'll stop in the bathroom on the way, talk about a few things there, and then we'll finish up in the bedroom. Follow me. Okay, we're in the bathroom and just want to point out a few features that are unique and awesome for us in here. First of all, standard max air fan and with the rain cover. The benefit of this max air fan is it moves a ton of air through here. You can actually use it while it's raining, hence the rain cover. You can use it while you're going down the road to keep airflow going through. You can close the cover and use it as kind of a ceiling fan type feel for you in here. So it's a very versatile fan. It is all 12 volt, very powerful. It makes a big impact for more comfortable camping, but also a lot of times what I tell people is if it's hot and it's summertime, the last thing you want to do is pump a bunch of humidity into here from a shower while it's hot out. So you turn this on, it's going to help suck all that humidity out of here to help keep your coach a lot cooler for you in the summertime. Another thing is China toilet. So we do a China toilet. It's a real China bowl toilet, foot flush on it, and then also stainless sink. So you have a stainless sink in the bathroom. And then another thing I point out a lot is two things in our shower here. First of all, I'm 6'1", and you can see I have a lot of headroom. I'm not even into our skylight yet. A lot of other brands, you got to stick your head into a skylight, and you're trying to shampoo inside the dome of the skylight, and it's frustrating for taller people. So you got a lot of space in here. And then another thing that I talk about all the time, which I think is such a great feature, is going to be our shower miser system. What this system is going to do for you is if you've ever taken a shower in an RV, you know you've got to turn on the hot water, pumps all the water through, trying to get hot water out, and your water's running. So if you're dry camping, which means you're not hooked up to anything, all that water that you've just ran, just like at home when you're trying to shower waiting for hot water to come, it's wasted. It comes out of your fresh tank and it goes straight to your gray tank and you never get to use it again. What this system does is you flip a lever right here, and you flip this valve up, you turn on your hot water, you'll hear your water pump turning on. What it's doing is it is bringing water straight to the head right here, or your handles right here, but it's bypassing the head. And it's actually pumping all this water right back into your fresh tank. So it's bypassing the gray tank and going back to your fresh tank. What'll happen is you have this blue elbow right here. And when this blue elbow starts to turn gray and then almost white, you know you have hot water at your taps. At that point, what you do is close off your shower head, make sure it's shut, flip this valve back down, turn on a little bit of cold water, open this up, and you have hot water right there. You didn't just waste a gallon trying to get hot water out of there. So if you're taking a couple showers a day for a family, that adds up over a couple day weekend if you're trying to dry camp or stay somewhere for a longer period of time. And it's just a lot more efficient. You're not wasting water. We need to stop doing so much of that. So it makes a big difference. And it's a feature that we personally really enjoy on ours that, you know, I don't have to skimp on my showers now after everybody else is gone. So it's kind of nice to keep that. So that's unique to us. I talk about it all the time and I really like it. Let's head into the bedroom and I'll show you a few more features before we wrap it up. Follow me. So in the bedroom, there's a few things I'd like to talk about up here. This one is optioned out with the second air conditioner in the bedroom, which for me is a must-have. I like to sleep cold. But something else that I talk about is the fact that our vents across our units, they close. It seems like a small deal, but it's another thing where other brands are trying to skimp dollars out of you. Theirs will stay open all the time, so they just turn. They don't close. So the benefit of these closing is if you're going to bed, why do you want to shove a ton of your air conditioning down to the living space when you can redirect it into your bedroom? It's like having another bedroom at your house that you don't use. You might as well close those vents to push the air to the rooms that you do. makes it more efficient for you and much more comfortable unit. You can buy these in a parts department, but you're going to spend $60, $75 in every other product out there trying to replace all of these, and it's just another frustrating thing that you're going to have to deal with. We just give it to you up front. It's part of what we do. We want you to be comfortable. So it seems like a small deal, but it's, again, these cumulative things that we do that make up a bigger, more comfortable camping experience for you. While we're up here, I do like to talk about, like I said, 4-inch thick block foam laminated roof. So it's 4 inches thick solid block foam. That's a big deal to have between you and the sun. So I always like to talk about that here. Another thing too that most people never notice is this T-mold that we put up here. This is a trim. So when anybody builds a roof up here, you have trim sections that you have to piece it together no matter what. That's how it's built. So this trim in a traditional product out there, what they're using is a piece of wood trim and they're stapling it. And then what they do is they take putty and put it over to hide the holes, and then they wipe the putty off. And no matter how hard you try over time, you're always going to see putty smears all over your ceiling. It's going to drive you crazy. And then it's going to get hot, and then it's going to get cold, and there's expansion and contraction. And if anybody's ever camped out there, or you've ever been out on a dealer's lot, you've seen it. One of these pieces is hanging down. And so then it's annoying because you're trying to run a slide room in, somebody else is holding this up while the slide room's coming in, and you got to get somebody to patch this up. And it's just an annoying process. What we use is a T-track. It snaps into place all the way across. There's no staples, there's no putty, there's no drooping. You're never going to have a problem with it. Most people would never even know that we do it. That's the goal. We just hear all the time, like, I just don't have problems with my Flagstaff. It's all these things in the background that we try to do to build a higher quality product that you don't have these issues like you would with other brands. When you're in our bedrooms too, you'll see it's full walk around the bed. It's a Serta mattress, so that's a high-end, real residential mattress that we use. I do like to look underneath here and look at how we lift this up, and you can see the aluminum framing under this bed. Again, we could save money by doing pine like everybody else and cheap staples, but we build a higher quality product, so it's all aluminum bed bases, all aluminum dinette bases. You're going to have a big bank of drawers in this particular model, and in this one, you have this wardrobe slide here. So a lot of hanging storage. Some people like to do the stackable totes in here, but it also comes all the way into the bathroom where you have linen, towels, bedding, everything else you can still fit inside there. So you have a lot of storage in this floor plan, but this is in all of our super light fifth wheels, so you have this there for all of them. Those are the main features that we talk about in our Flagstaff Superlight fifth wheels. We've talked about a lot today. We appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos, learn more about these products. We realize also that there's probably a lot of questions that you have. Maybe we talked about something in particular that you want to know more about. We encourage you to find us, ForestRiverInc.com. You can find us on all of our social media channels for Flagstaff by Forest River. Call us at the factory. We're always willing to help. We want to help educate you because there's a lot of stuff out there that we do differently than other brands that you might not even realize they don't do. So thank you for taking the time. Make sure you add us to your wish list when you're on ForestRiverInc.com. You can find all the different floor plans, save them to your own wish list. That way you can have an idea when you come back. You're not always constantly searching for, gosh, what was that floor plan I really liked? Makes it easier for you. So that's what we're all about. We're trying to make your experience that much better. Thank you for taking the time to watch it, and have a great day. Thanks.